Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Leetcode problem 500, keyboard row in JavaScript. This is considered an easy problem. I would agree with that. It says, given an array of strings, words, return the words that can be typed using letters of the alphabet on only one row of American keyboard like the image below. Note that the strings are case sensitive. Both lowercase and uppercase of the same letter are treated as if they are in the same row. So, the first, in the American keyboard, the first row consists of these characters, second row of these characters, third row of these characters. So, if this is our input of words, only Alaska and Dad can be spelled with one row of the keyboard, right? Alaska with the second row and Dad with the second row as well. Yeah, it's pretty simple to understand. That's really all there is to it. There's really no gotchas here. Of course, like I said up there, you gotta understand that it's case insensitive, right? So, yeah, this can be a lower or uppercase A, right? Like in Alaska. Alrighty, so actually this is probably the best example to grab. Grab this, go over to Code Pen. And you know what? I'm gonna grab this output too, just so we have it in front of us. It's always nice not to jump back and forth. Okay. Let's create a function, func. And eventually what we're going to do is we're going to push any of the words that, can be created with one row into a result array. So let's just go ahead and create that. Result, create an empty array, and then we need to return result. So log into the console. Now we should see an empty array, which is our result array. We do. Okay. So how are we going to do this? So we need a nested for loop. The first for loop is basically going to check. Well, before we do that, we're going to create 3 variables representing each row. So top, middle, and bottom. Okay. Then we come back over here. As opposed to typing all this out because that would be a pain, I can just grab this, paste it in. So there's our top. Here's our middle. And then here is our bottom. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to do a nested for loop. So we can look at each word. The outer loop is going to let us look at each word. So if I is less than words dot length I plus plus, so console.log words at I, we'll see each word. Yep. And then we need another for loop inside. I'm just going to say let j equal 0. Now here we're going to say if j is less than words at I dot length j plus plus. Now we can see every single letter for every single word, right? So what I'm going to do here is console.log word at I, and then word at I and j. Not words, words. Not word, words. Cool. So you can see here, we're getting every letter in hello, and then every letter in Alaska, so on and so forth. Okay. So first thing we need to do is we need to determine which one of these variables we're going to look into, right? And the way we can do that is we can just look at the very first letter of each word and say, is that in top? If it is, we're going to loop through top. I'm sorry, if that is, we're going to loop through the rest of the word and check to see if each of those letters is in top. And if it's not, we don't push the word into results. If all the letters are in there, we push the word into result. Okay. So I'm going to initialize a variable here with let. I'm just going to call this well, you know what? Let's call this row. That's better. That row, we'll simply say it's an empty string right now. Doesn't really matter. And then here, we're going to write let same row. I'm going to set that equal to true, boolean true. Now what we can do is we can write a ternary operator that says we're going to redefine a row based on which of these three variables includes the first letter of whatever word we're on. So we're going to say top words at I, first letter 0, and then we gotta remember we gotta account for the uppercase letters. So here we need to write 2 lower case. If that's the case, row is going to equal top. Oops. That's what you want. Okay, then we can copy this. This is going to be our else if statement. And here we can say middle. So now we're seeing if middle includes that first letter. If it does, we're going to say row is middle. Else, row is going to be bottom. Move this over. Cool. So now that we know which one of these we're working with, what we can do too, just to make sure this is working, is you can just console.log row. Right, and so hello is going to be looking in here. Alaska's still going to be looking here. And so is dad. Eventually we're going to get to piece and it's going to be looking in the top. So we're looking in the middle for the first 3 words, and then we're looking at the top in the last word piece. And that's all correct. And we can just create an if statement. I'm going to say if section, not section, I changed it to row dot includes words at I at J. This is going to be each letter, right? We do need to make sure it's lowercase, so we got to use 2 lowercase. So if this equals false, we can set same row to equal false. And then we're going to break out of this inner for loop because we're not going to check any more letters. Okay, we're done with it. So, you know, for hello, right, we get to E. You see that middle has no E's in it, so we just immediately assign same row false, and we break out of this inner loop, right? Then, at the end of the outer for loop, we can say if same row equals true, and we just push into results, result.push words at I. And now, ta-da, Alaska and Dad, we got it. So that's it. It's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and copy the logic, move over to Leetcode, paste it in, format the code, let's run a test, and let's submit. And we did it, and it is extremely fast. I love that. Great. All right, hopefully you found this video enjoyable and helpful. If you did, please like it. It helps my channel grow. If you'd like to see more like this, please like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you again real soon.